Hello there. Before we get started on today's episode, I'd like to ask a short favor. If you're interested in either of the two books that I have written and am about to release, head on over to my website at theanxioustruth.com/books. There you can learn about both books, one of which is free, and you can get on my mailing list to be notified when each book is released and how you can get it. I would really appreciate that. Okay, let's get rolling.
Hey, what's up, guys? Drew here, thatanxietyguy.com. I am talking to, I'm so excited, my friend Sarah, all the way from the UK, and Sarah and I have known each other for quite a long time. So those of you who follow my channel, my videos, have seen me work with Billy. I know Sarah just as long as I know Billy. So Sarah, thank you so much for taking your time.
Such a pleasure.
It's so fun,
So
right?
happy to be here.
I know. I'm so happy to be catching up with you. Like, Sarah and I haven't spoken in a while, but yeah, it's
You're
really
always
great.
in
Really,
my
really
heart, Drew.
great. What's that?
You're always in my heart.
Oh, geez. Thank you. Thanks. Wow. So
Always thinking about you.
So Sarah, got you. We were good to see you get into the Facebook group. That was awesome. Like, not too long ago, you joined up with the rest of the crowd. So that was cool to see you there. And someone had asked about, there was a thread about health anxiety, and there's just so much health anxiety stuff.
Yeah.
And I have very little experience with that, but Sarah, you were nice enough to answer and say that you had gotten past it. So I thought we could take 20, 30 minutes and just talk about that.
Cool,
So yeah, that would be great. So give me the rundown. Tell me about what has health anxiety been for you for so many years? How bad was it? I'm going to say probably bad, right?
Okay, yeah, it eventually led me to actually have a full clinical breakdown.
The health anxiety drove you to that thing.
Yeah, that was the only point through because obviously I've had mental health problems for 21 years, and at no point with any of the other things I've had have I actually experienced a full-on breakdown. And even now when I look back to how I was then,
right,
I don't even recognize that honestly, I don't recognize that person at all. It's just like it was someone different. It was someone like I was literally, it taken over, controlling me in every sense.
Now, what was the driver? Were you in that state where you were, and I knew you back then. We were kind of communicating back in 2008, 2009, that whole period. And were you driven by that constant scanning of how do I feel? What's wrong?
Yeah. Do you know what I've learned with over the years of having any kind of anxiety problem, what your brain does, it literally hones in to what you fear the most. So for example, there was a period of time when I feared having heart problems, and I can guarantee every day I'd wake up and I'd have chest pain, I'd have jaw pain, I'd have arm pain. Every single day I'd wake up and that would be the symptoms I was getting. I had a fear of getting I don't know, a stomach cancer or something like that, and I would every day from that point I'd be waking up with stomach pains, feeling sick. Do you know what I mean? So and without fail I'd be having, and then I'd have some other pain, or a pain in my back, and it'd be like, oh my god, kidneys. And you can guarantee after that I'd have kidney pain for about the next 3 or 4 months. And
and those things felt extremely real to you, I'm guessing. I kind of remember back in I'm looking at you now, to be honest with you. We've been chatting for a little while before I started recording and just catching up. You seem like a different person than you were. I remember you were just constantly, and there was that thing of this is never going to get better. I remember you being so adamant and saying, this is my life, it's never ever going to get better. And as it turns out, that wasn't really the case.
No, this bits I do still struggle with, but it's taken, I've read so many books, I've done so much research, and it really just, and I don't want to trivialize it because I've lived it for so many years, and it excuse me, it really does come down to your thoughts. Thoughts cause anxiety. Anxiety causes adrenaline to be released, which causes the physiological and physical symptoms. And therefore, and then once they start happening, then you're thinking, oh my God, what's this? What's this? What's this?
Right,
What's this?
right.
What's this? You know, it's a vicious cycle of like thoughts, feelings, adrenaline. You know, it's just.
So you weren't really stuck in just generic, like I have panic attacks. It was that and specific, like I'm having a heart attack, or now I have stomach problems, now I have kidney problems. You kind of went from obsession to obsession.
I had everything. I had leukemia. I had every cancer. I had brain cancer. I've had brain scans. I've had so much. You know, you name it, I've had it. And I'll tell you in a second about, you know, when the breakdown happened.
Yeah.
I've had like every illness that I thought I've had. I've had like the tests that go along with that.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, when I actually had a real like issue last year with my blood, and they mentioned lymphoma as a possible, and I had to go and see a hematologist. At that point, obviously, because I'm now recovered from health anxiety, they mentioned lymphoma. Didn't even, you know, there was no like, oh my God, they've just said lymphoma, and then I'm scanning for, you know, am I looking pale? Am I tired? Am I this? Am I that? You know, Googling the symptoms of lymphoma and seeing which ones I had. Yeah. There was nothing like that. I was like, okay, whatever, we'll see what happens when I see the hematologist in a couple of weeks. So, you know, it is going from how I was to, you know, now, you know, there is, you know, you can recover without a doubt.
Well, there had to be. So you hear a word like lymphoma, which is certainly scary for everybody to hear. Like, do you find that you were still like, how did you handle? Because I know there are going to be people who are watching that do have legitimate health problems. It's not just health anxiety. People do get ill or have conditions too. So when you hear that, like, were you worried? Were you scared? Were you like a person normally would be? It just didn't become.
No.
Really?
I mean, if someone had said that to me when I was deep in the health anxiety,
right,
I would have gone nuts.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it other than Google, incessant Google, constant obsessive Googling. That is what I'd have done.
Yeah.
When they told me at the doctors that, you know, my blood results were this, it could be A, B, or C, I just went.
Well, because reality is, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. That's true.
Worrying
nothing you can do
anything about it apart from make you worse. So
that is astounding to hear you say.
Yeah, it was honestly. And now, like I said, I've got other health problems, and they've told me, you know, something's a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll deal with
I can't do anything about it. Yeah. I mean, I've got different pains now from like, the issue that I'm having. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not worrying about it. There's too much other stuff to worry about than that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, the difference is when you actually have a genuine health problem, you handle it differently to when you perceive you have a problem.
Right.
Because the psychosomatic symptoms are as real as real symptoms.
Sure.
But because you're thinking about the psychosomatic symptoms, they are just worse, and they are worse than, I could potentially say, they are worse than, you know, real symptoms.
I've heard that
because you make them much bigger.
Yes, I've heard that said.
What they actually are. You blow them because you're overthinking it completely. You just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until everything's involved, you know.
Yes, yeah. I've heard it described as like making a movie. So like, you know, sometimes there are forest fires and they are bad. But in a movie, when they make a movie about a forest fire, when you can imagine any forest fire you want, it's huge. It's so much worse. Yeah.
It's taking out entire cities, which is basically what it does.
Which doesn't really happen. But if you let your imagination go, you can make
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think let me ask you another question then. When you're in the thick of that, so you were worried about specific ailments, of course, and I'm guessing in that constantly scanning, how do I feel thing. You were incessantly Googling and searching, which you said, and a lot of people struggle with that. Like they must Google. They have a hard time not Googling.
Yeah.
What about checking? Like we have people who are constantly compelled to check their blood pressure or their heart rate or their blood sugar. Did you do those things?
Well, okay. When I had my breakdown, shall I tell you how that started?
Good. Tell me whatever, you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so 2011, I had a lot of stress. I was having problems with my boyfriend. My cat had just been put down. I had a really bad chest infection. And I I had money problems. So there was a lot of stress going on with my life. And then I had the flu jab, which was perfectly normal for me. The flu jab, I have asthma, so, I'm given the flu jab. Right. Anyway, for some reason, I went home and I Googled the flu jab, and it said, in rare cases, it can cause something called Guillain-Barré syndrome or something.
Yeah. Okay. Guillain-Barré. Yeah.
That's it. It had that. So it can cause that. Within 3 seconds, my brain had taken that, right? It was in my brain. I was like, oh my God. So then I was Googling that illness, and I was like, oh my God, it causes paralysis. It causes this, locked in, can't do. So a few weeks later, I was like starting to get weird things happening, right? I was feeling a bit of weakness. And then that progressed into MS. So then I had got MS, right? So, and that wasn't good enough, because I was Googling more, and I was like getting all these other symptoms, like weird. I was like, I could hear myself slurring, and I could actually see atrophy happening in my hands. I've got really skinny hands, look. But in my head, I could see my hands were atrophying. And then I couldn't swallow properly. I was choking, and then I couldn't get up the stairs properly, and really weird things. Anyway, so then it just manifested into Lou Gehrig's disease, possibly the worst motor neurone disease you could have.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had got Lou Gehrig's disease. I was going to the doctors 4-5 times a day with my new symptoms, and I've spent literally 24 hours. Okay, this is really bad. I either spent 24 hours Googling, and when you said about the checking, I wasn't just checking, I was doing neurological tests on myself all day, constantly. I was holding things up with my fingers to make sure I wasn't losing my strength. I was standing on my tiptoes, I was walking on my heels, I was doing like this all day long, like to see and I was like doing checks with that, and I was doing this, and I was like moving my jaw from side to side. I was doing tongue checks to see if I hadn't got like ALS coming in my mouth. And that was like that for 8 weeks, constantly checking. And I was even getting my son at that point, who was 13, to do the checks alongside with me. And I was like, Samuel, get books. And I'd get like the biggest book he'd got, and I'd like hold it in my hands to see the strength. And if I dropped it, I'd then be like, oh my God, I just dropped it. That must be, and then that would even be worse, because then I could see myself that, my strength was going. And I'd do like, there's a test that they do at the bottom of your foot to make your feet curl, your toes curl. Hoffman's, is it? I know Hoffman's is one of them. Hoffman's sign or something. Anyway, and like all your reflexes. So I was getting
run your feet up your legs. That one.
Yeah, all that crap. Anyway, so that was all that, and in the end, I was like going so mental. The doctor was like looking at me every time I went. It's like, Sarah, you've just got to stop it. You've got to stop this. You're gonna make yourself really ill. So in the end, I was like, I had a nerve conduction test where they stuck needles, to make sure, where the if your nerves were working. Anyway, I was getting all my symptoms in this arm, my right arm, and I had this nerve conduction test, and he only did like needles in my left side and in my shoulder. So anyway, bear in mind, I am absolutely 10 out of 10. Crazy at the moment, not crazy, but
I understand, obsessed.
I don't want to make people angry by using the term crazy, but I'm using it for myself. Right. I was completely insane at this point. Anyway, the hospital was about 25 minutes, half an hour away. I got halfway home, and I said to my mum, he didn't do it right, he didn't do the test right, he didn't do my bad arm. So I made my mum turn around, go all the way back. I literally stormed, because I'm like having a breakdown at this point. I stormed into the consulting room where he was seeing somebody else, He's already doing, like, seeing another patient, and I've gone, you didn't do the skin test right, like this.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I am that worried, because, you know, this is how bad health anxiety is. I was that convinced I'd got ALS.
Yeah.
And he hadn't done the bad arm, the defective arm.
Right.
He wasn't going to diagnose me. So, yeah,
Right.
I was going to die. I was going to die. And I'd literally planned my funeral. I had planned how I was going to have my bed downstairs. I'd planned all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I walked in, I swore at him, and I was escorted out.
Wow.
I was escorted out of the hospital.
Okay. Well,
Because you can't go in and shout at people. It's just
right. You kind of can't do that. I get it. Yeah.
But anyway,
so that, okay, and that kind of keep going. It seems like you're more.
I'm mortified thinking about it now.
I can see it on your face. Like, how could I have been that way, right?
Well, I was because I was having a breakdown, and literally I'd sit at home, and if I wasn't Googling, this is really bad, I'd sit in the bath as far away from the laptop as I could be. Can't have a laptop in the bath, and I'd sit in the bath from as soon as Sammy went to school, 9 o'clock in the morning, to when he come home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I didn't want to be anywhere near my electronics, and I would sit there and I would self-medicate with brandy.
Yeah.
And I don't drink. I literally drank for that 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It was either I'm drinking or I'm gonna kill myself. It was that bad. It was either, I was so far in it.
And so, but you would literally fill the tub with water and sit in the tub.
Literally,
so you could not hold something that was plugged in.
Yeah, all day.
Okay. And
all
is
day.
That, so let me ask you a question. Let's follow that through. That stopped you from being able to check and Google and Google and Google?
Yeah, and do all these physical checks that were driving me into. Do you know what? I just have to say quickly. One night, right, it was 11:30 at night, and I stuck my tongue out, and my tongue looked wonky. It didn't look like it was pointing straight, right?
Okay.
I phoned up my mum, and I was like, oh my god, my tongue's not straight, and I'm obviously convinced I've got Lou Gehrig's disease. And I said, my tongue's not straight. She's like had to drive from her house, which is like 15 minutes away, 11:30 at night, to come and check my tongue. To see that my tongue, and that wasn't the only time she'd done that. She did that for something else, for like another one of the tests that I'd done that I was seeing as wrong. But she came out about two times, I think, really late at night to check my symptoms. And my tongue, honestly, I was seeing my tongue was not straight.
Yeah.
But that's not even a sign of ALS.
No, but it didn't matter, though, because you're not thinking rationally in any way. No. Obviously, you can look back now and say it was completely and utterly irrational. But at the time, it seemed very real, I'm sure.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was it. The tongue thing was the last, was a nail in the coffin for me. That was it. I was goner. I was an absolute goner.
I think like so many people that are going to watch this, and you've seen some of the comments in the group and the discussion that goes on, I think.
Yeah.
Does anybody worry about this? Does anybody worry about that? I don't know if I've heard of a story, and I cannot thank you enough for being so honest and open about this, where I don't know, like you're addressing just about every checking and reassurance seeking behavior that I've ever heard. So you went down all that road. So, but now you're sitting here and you actually have dealt with some real actual health issues, and like you could not look more relaxed and like
I'm fine.
Not worried about it. So how did you get the $1 million question? How did you get from in the bathtub, sequestered from your electronics drinking brandy to here?
Okay, so I had the nerve conduction test and I went back to the doctors. So they called me in, and at this point the doctor was having to be chaperoned because I was so crazy. They didn't know what my behavior was going to be like.
Right.
So there was always someone in there for the doctor's safety, which was.
I understand. I get it. Yeah.
Anyway, so they got the results of the test, this nerve conduction test, and they said, Sarah, there was absolutely nothing wrong with your muscles. There's no sign of anything. Okay, there's no sign of any kind of muscle wasting or whatever the big long words they use.
Right.
Degeneration, I think it is, of muscles or something like that. there's nothing. So all you have is, and they did say I've got a problem with my spine. Yeah, it's just like the spine is just slightly crushing on one another.
Sure.
No big deal.
So, right.
Radiculopathy it's called in my C6 and C7 part of my spine. Anyway, it just causes pain. So there's like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And they said, right, and they sat down, they were so angry with me. They were so really like forceful. They said, right, you've got to stop coming to the doctors 4 times a day. You can't do that anymore. If you do, we're going to have to get you sectioned because you're going to end up killing yourself.
Right.
And they were the exact words. And they said, you either go or you at least try some medication or we will have to section you.
Okay.
They were my options: death, sectioned, or medication.
You had no choice. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I forgot another sign, the symptom that I was getting, because I'll get onto it in a second. I had constantly had this internal vibration. My whole body was buzzing internally 24 hours a day, like I was holding onto a pneumatic drill. My whole body was vibrating constantly from the minute I went to bed. The second I woke up, it was constantly just vibrating. Anyway, so I took the pills. I was like, well, I'm not going to go into mental home because no. And okay, and I was like, I don't really want to die. If I haven't got Lou Gehrig's disease, I don't really want to die. So I'm going to have to try this.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was like the only way to get. I'm not saying people can't do it without medication, because I've had periods of being off medication and it didn't come back. So I know without medication, it has gone.
But you got to that point where there was really no choice.
No, I had no.
The doctors gave you no choice.
Or meds. Yeah,
they gave you no
choice. No choice whatsoever. Because quite frankly, having 4 appointments a day, I was just, and they had to see me because they knew the state I was in. So people were being pushed out because I was so bad.
Right, understood.
Anyways, so I took the pill and I was still getting this like vibration thing.
Yeah.
I was like, perhaps I do have Lou Gehrig's disease like this. Yeah, and it crept back in. Didn't matter that they told me I hadn't. I was like, well, I still got this really weird buzzing feeling throughout my body. But eventually, within, I reckon, I don't know, 2-3 weeks,
it started to go away.
It went away.
So what, if you don't mind me asking, what medication did they give you? Because people will ask this. Do you even remember? Was it antidepressant?
Yes, escitalopram, Cipralex.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So
it was only like 5 mil. It was smallest dose. Yeah. But, I mean, I think at that point, when you're actually having a breakdown and you're rocking and you're literally scratching your skin off because you don't know what else to do, you know, I sat there in the corner of my sofa downstairs scratching my skin off, and people just like my sister came out and she sat there sobbing because she didn't know
how to help
what to do, because my whole body was just sores and scratches and like pulling my hair out. I was so bad, and it was just awful.
Yeah, it sounds like a horrific experience, and you know, I'm so happy that you're not in that place anymore. So you're confronted with this choice, like you're going down a very dark path, or we have to section you, which you don't want to do. Which in the U.S., just to explain that would be admission to a psychiatric hospital. And you don't want to go down that road. So you start taking this antidepressant, and within a few weeks, I'm guessing you begin to change. Yes. So
depression lifted for a start.
Right. So your depression lifts, and it does do that. It certainly does do that. And so that obsession, antidepressants often used for obsessive compulsive disorder. And so your obsessive thoughts begin. But the key was your thoughts begin to change because of
I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't. It wasn't in my head 24 hours a day. Right. Because I know all through, like, since I've like had health anxiety, it was always there in the background, regardless of what I was doing. It's like, oh, what's that twinge? You know, and then it would manifest from there. It'd be anything. It'd be like, oh, I've got,
could be anything.
My glands feel a bit weird, you know, and it'd be like anything, and it would, but those, you know, I'd get a twinge, and I didn't think anything of it. That was it. I didn't think of it. Whatever. Do nothing.
Do nothing. So, okay. So let's so then they give you this antidepressant, and did you continue to take it? So you said you stopped taking it, and the health anxiety did not come back. No
Sorry, no.
It's okay.
Sorry, no, it didn't. Yeah, I took it for from 2012 to 2017. 5 years I took it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even in my head at all at any point of that through any of it. And then I stopped taking it because I didn't need it. And I was having an operation, and I just didn't feel that I needed it. So I came off it just before the operation, and
no problem.
And I, because having an operation also is a bit like, but there was no there was no worry there either.
Well, I think, what starts to happen is, once you're free of that obsessional thinking, now you get to a place where you can rationally look back at yourself and say, that was wrong. And
but hang on a minute, I don't wrong, because wrong would imply that, I wouldn't say wrong.
Incorrect or inaccurate.
Wrong.
Not wrong. And you're right. That's not a good word.
Yeah, because your brain is so anxious.
Yes.
Constantly. It's just you're just consumed. That's the only way you can. That's the only way I can describe it. You're just consumed with all these negative thoughts that just manifest and it's literally, it starts off with a thought. That's it. That's all it is. It's a thought, and thoughts are harmless.
That's true. Well, now you can say that. So now you're in a place where, without the antidepressant, you can dismiss that thought and it's just a thought. It's harmless. Or you might not even have the thought now. It sounds like.
No, I don't have them anymore. No.
Yeah.
No.
So I think the takeaway here is that is about the most extreme case of health obsession and anxiety that I've run across. There may be worse, but here you are, upright and smiling and relaxed and talking about it it's just you were it's a different person, it happened to somebody else, And I think once you were freed from that cycle of obsession, it sounds like you were able to not go back into it. It just doesn't.
No, it's not even on my radar.
Yeah.
Even not being on medication, it's not. It's just not there.
Yeah.
Not there.
So regardless, maybe you had to take extreme measures, but so here was this crippling, life altering, crushing obsession and health anxiety that is now not a thing.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's watching, who is wanting to Google or check their blood pressure and that sort of stuff, even somebody who was much worse off than maybe you, and I think, Sarah, you probably described yourself as a pretty extreme case. Is
look quite bad, yeah.
Yeah, look at the smile. I mean, and sharing that, I cannot even tell you how I know it's going to help a tremendous number of people. So I so appreciate you doing that.
Oh yeah, I did used to do the blood pressure as well.
Did you used to do that to check blood pressure? Yeah.
I used to do my blood pressure, yeah, because I've got really low blood pressure, and I used to, oh my god, it's so low. And I mean, the thing is, again, I'm not a doctor. If it's low, what am I going to do about it? Nothing. Because I don't live close to a hospital. I'm not going to call out an ambulance for low blood pressure. Yeah. So I'm just going to sit there with my feet up in the air.
But I think the difference is now you can look rationally and say, what was I going to do anyway?
Yeah, but even going back to the point of when I was obsessively doing it, what was I going to do with that information?
Yeah.
Thinking now, looking back, what was I going to do with that information?
Yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing I could do. Okay, it's 96/40. That is really low, but what am I going to do now? Nothing. Because I can't do anything about it, can I? But then I would have been, oh my god, it's so low. I need to go to the doctor. I need to phone that, and I would have phoned up the doctor. And
right.
I was even doing for diabetes, insulin, doing my blood check, and I phoned up my doctor. I don't even have it. And I phoned up the doctor once because it was really low, and it's like, Sarah, it's fine. I was like, yeah, but it's like 4 point, because our numbers are different. Here, the range is about 4.9 to 7 is normal.
Yeah.
and mine was like 4. I was like, oh my God, surely I'm going to die. And I phoned up the doctor. He's like, just stop it, Sarah. Just stop it. You don't have diabetes. I was like, yeah, but I've had like 6 glasses of water today. I'm really thirsty. It's like, this was when I was having my breakdown. So just drop it. Just drop it. There's nothing. You're fine. But then.
Yeah, you don't have the ability to just drop it.
No. Rational thinking didn't exist from December the 1st to February the 14th is when I took my first antidepressants, Valentine's Day. And so it was a really long time of just, I mean, that was the worst, but I mean, obviously it went for years before that, but that was the pinnacle of it all.
That is a long road that you went down. So I think in the end, and again, you know what? I think it's a valuable story for people to hear, and the way you came out of it and did what you had to do, and now you're sitting here so naturally. I think, and you know, you can feel free to, you don't have to answer anything you don't want, but I know people are also going to ask, like, what, is there any other anxiety issue that's still lingering? Because people are going to ask that.
Yeah. Oh, agoraphobia.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. But
that's two separate issues.
Yeah, I've got completely. Yeah. I mean, I said to you before. I mean, some things people can overcome easier than others. I mean, I've had friends that have like overcome agoraphobia, but still struggle with health anxiety.
Sure. You're the other way.
I mean, it's and I can sit and go, yeah, I've recovered from health anxiety, but I still struggle with agoraphobia. Yeah. But I'm not anywhere near as bad as I was with that either. I mean, because when, like, I don't know if it was when I was speaking to you or just before I was speaking to you, I was literally trapped in I was trapped in the lounge downstairs. I couldn't even get upstairs to the toilet on my own.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you know what I mean? I had to call people home to take me to the toilet.
Yeah.
I've come a long way since being trapped in my front room, being taken to the toilet upstairs.
You never looked like this, like happy, relaxed. Like you never. When I was.
I was so stressed.
Never. You never were just chatting like this ever. I never saw you like this. So
no,
it's really great.
Because I was always constantly like, in my head, like going. There's always something. Now I don't have much in my head, to be honest. There's not much going on out there.
No,
I prefer it like this. This is easy.
It's better. Well, it's better when you're not upset and like constantly in your own head.
No.
Having come as far as you did and getting past that crippling health anxiety and even being so improved with your other anxiety issues, maybe it's not necessarily beyond agoraphobia, but like, what do you think the outlook is? I mean, you exhibited a tremendous. You got yourself out of that. Like
I'm having therapy again now, and I see an amazing therapist, and she's the only one I've ever like clicked with, and it's like going in and chatting to a friend.
Yeah.
And we sit and talk about like life, we talk about my anxiety, we talk about all that kind of stuff, and it's just, and even last week I've just read a book, and I read the book and I was like, oh my God, it was one of those epiphany moments where you're like, oh my God, I get it. I finally get it. I actually get it, and it was after I watched the Do Nothing. And I was like, oh my God, that's what Drew said. And
the Do Nothing.
And I went and saw my therapist and I spoke to her about it. And I was like, oh my, she goes, well, actually, Sarah, that's what I've been telling you for like.
Yeah, a while.
I was like, yeah, but perhaps I needed to see it in black and white in front of me.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? But I mean, there was a time when I used to go and see her and I'd sit there and panic. I'd be sitting there shaking, and I don't have that anymore. There's lots of areas that, I think that perhaps I might struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other areas that I know are going to be fine, and that is basically it's and I'm gonna I don't want to trivialize it, but it does all come down to your thoughts.
That's true. And I don't think you're trivializing.
That is the bottom line. It's your thoughts. It's your thoughts that create all this crap that we deal with.
Yeah.
And even like when it's, when you're having a panic attack out of the blue, it's not out of the blue, because most of the time we're anxious about something,
Yes.
And your body can't be anxious without it having to expel itself somehow.
That's true.
And that's when you have like a out of the blue panic attack, but it probably isn't, because God knows what other things have been going on in your life that creates this.
It's never
but
really.
Now I know this.
Yeah,
I know this now, and I know that nothing's gonna hurt me. And I also read something that's very interesting that I'm gonna share. When you have a panic attack and it feels absolutely horrible, the worst it can possibly feel, it's never going to get any worse than that, because that first release of adrenaline is as bad as you're going to feel. You may think it's going to feel worse than that, you're going to get worse, but it isn't. That first hit of adrenaline is as bad as it's going to get.
It's the worst it knows how to do. It is the worst.
Yeah, and it can only come down from there. I mean, you can keep it going at that level if you if you allow it.
Yeah.
But it will never reach that point of the first bit where you go, I'm going to die. That's it. That is it. That is the level it's going to get. And you could, like I say, you can continue for a little bit, or you can just go on then, kill me.
Oh, good God. If you do not even know, I'm just going to flat it like this. I cannot believe I'm hearing you say these things.
Just kill me. Yeah, just kill me if it wants. Don't, come on.
There were times in the past that I just wanted to shake you because I knew this was in you. And here it is. You may say that you're still agoraphobic, but you are flat at the top of my success story list. Absolutely. Because to know where you were back in those days and the things you used to say and the way you would describe yourself as this is it. You literally wrote a blog entitled I'm agoraphobic. That was the name of your blog. Too bad. This is what I am. Yeah. And wow, what a huge, huge difference in you. I can't even believe it.
I know, it's just it's hard work, and I'm not going to say at no point I'm going to go, oh my God, I can't do, I'm having a moment and I don't know if I can do this, and perhaps I'll sit in my house for another 3 months. But that's what it is. It's always going to be a roller coaster, isn't it? You have a condition. It's not going to be plain sailing.
It's never straight up. Yeah.
This isn't fucking Disney World. Excuse me. It's not Disney World, is it? It's not going to be. Sorry.
It's okay. It's totally fine.
Sorry, it's not Disney World. We're going to have peaks and troughs, but it's just going. I can't, and I keep for the last couple of weeks, I keep putting myself in positions where, I know would make me panic. I walk further than I could or I should be able to do, and I'm doing it. I'm walking. I'm come on then. Mate, come on, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
And I'm and I feel a bit disheartened when it doesn't happen, because because I wanted to prove to myself that, I can handle it. But,
so impressive. I can't even begin to tell you. This is amazing. It's really great. Really great. So thank you so much.
I'm not gonna pretend it's it isn't easy, but
it's not easy.
I'm not gonna give up because I'm done. I mean, I've had 21 years of it. I think I've done my bit now.
Yeah, I think you have. Wow, this is so great. So great. I can't even begin to tell you. I am just bubbly. So really great. Well, do you have anything else you want to add? I mean, I appreciate you've given me 40 minutes of your time. So great. But
just if anybody wants to contact me, then just contact me. Yeah, just talk to me. I mean, I'll talk to anybody about it. So if they need to know anything else, or I've missed something else, just message me. Whatever, it's fine.
Do you still have a channel on YouTube?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it active? Do you still post?
Yeah. It is.
Okay. I'll link it. You send me the link. I'll put it.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I can't remember what
That's fine. Send me the link. I'll link it in the description so you guys can check out.
I do frequently post on there. Yeah.
Are any of your old videos from back in the day still there?
All there. Everything's still there.
Oh, then we must. Yes.
Yeah, everything's still there.
Want an example of a tremendous turnaround from one state to another.
Yeah. Why am I agoraphobic? Or I am agoraphobic. Oh God. And I'm so and my personality back then is just sort of oh my God, you're so boring, girl. Just where is it?
Oh, God. That's rough.
I'm a lot older now, and I think perhaps I'm a lot wiser.
Well, that happens.
Yeah.
It's the benefit of a few extra years. I get it.
Yeah. A few extra wrinkles, a few more grey hairs.
Okay. Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
More grey hair.
No, that's me.
Oh, you're talking about you, yeah.
No, I had to dye it. This isn't natural. This is dyed.
Oh, you're not supposed to give your secrets away like that.
Oh,
you know that.
Don't care.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Like, this has been so great, and maybe we'll chat again. Like,
yeah, please.
When you're out and about. You know? Yeah. Okay.
So much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. I'm going to hit the stop recording button, and that'll kill it. So, guys, thanks. Make sure you check out Sarah's channel. Join the Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description. Like, I know Sarah's there. I don't know how often, but there's so many great people and a lot of help. So,
lovely.
Go with it. Okay.
Thanks,
guys. See you next.
Hey, what's up, guys? Drew here. In the 5 years that I've done the podcast, I've never had a sponsor. But now it's time for me to put in a little plug for the day job, the business that I own. And that business is Managed WordPress Hosting. So if you have a website and it runs WordPress, and you'd like WordPress hosting that makes WordPress faster, more secure, and way easier than you ever imagined it would be, then check out Helix. You can find us online at iamhelix.com. That's iamhelix.com. We took a long time to build Helix. I'm super proud of it. It works spectacularly. We take really good care of our customers, and I promise we would take really good care of you too. So if you're in the market for WordPress hosting that will blow your mind, check out Helix. I would appreciate the consideration. I thank you for coming by and listening, and I'll see you the next time.